Mijas International on this Thursday the 18th of April. Today our studio guest is Amanda Lewis, and she's from Stilettos Ladies Football Club, and they train in La Cala. And in the local news, we've got details about the Mijas Foreigners Department transferring from Mijas Pueblo to La Cala de Mijas Mayor's office. And local news also includes details about the presentation of the Tapa route and parking in Mijas Pueblo, amongst other news. Gabby Ray's with us in the second part of the programme with the Spanish National Press Review. But just now, I'm really pleased to welcome Amanda Lewis. Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. It was lovely to find out that there was a ladies' football team, and I think it was last year that you started, last June. And it's a wonderful name, isn't it? Studs and Stilettos. Did you think of that?
I did. Well, a few of us were thinking about a name together, and we wanted a name that was sort of brought together football, but the fact that we were women, so football studs, and we all wear stilettos.
So it was a perfect combination. Now, just thinking back, we were talking about this before, in the 70s and 80s, we were not encouraged as females to play football at school. It wasn't an option. And I'm just wondering how this club got started.
Well, there was a game between some friends of ours, the seniors, and their sons, really, that were all in their 20s. And a lot of us went down to watch the match. And it was really good fun. It was a brilliant atmosphere, better than watching it on the television. And at the end of it, I said to Brian, who was the coach, would he consider training some women, giving some women football training if I could get enough people interested? And he said yes, obviously. And I asked around, and there were so many people that wanted to play of all ages that we just started straight from there.
And they're just showing you now that you're training. And I think on the screen, this was the one with a lower, was it? It
was. A lower college sixth form came to play. We've played them twice, actually, once at five-a-side, and this was nine-a-side just in March. They brought one team, and we had two teams, an A and a B team.
And have you always been interested in football?
I have, yeah. I've never played it,
no,
but I've always watched it, following Liverpool since I was young. But now that I play it, I understand why people get so obsessed with watching it, because I watch a lot more football now.
Yeah. So obviously it's grown. I mean, you're full to capacity now, aren't you? Now, I presume there's a lot of dedication behind it. I mean, you do train on Wednesdays, don't you?
We've gone up to 2 hours training. We started off with an hour on a small five-a-side pitch, and now we do 2 hours training on, it's half of a full-size pitch for the moment, but we're going to move up to full-size when we can. And a lot of the girls do other activities. They do running and go to the gym and lots of things to increase their fitness.
And thinking about it, you were saying there was quite a few nationalities that are involved with this ladies' football club. Could you say about how many?
Yeah, we've got about 7 at the moment. We've had various people from all sorts of places. I'd say about half the team is British. That's Northern Irish, Scottish, English and Welsh. We've got Portuguese, Spanish, Polish, Dutch, everything you can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine. I imagine it's a great atmosphere as well. Like you say, it's dedication and it's fun, and you're meeting people from different cultures. Did you find that most of these women that are involved have never played football before, or just have some of them got some sort of experience?
I'd say the people that we've got now, about half of them are quite skilled, and they've played since they were young at school. We've got teenagers, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. It's mostly the sort of 30 and 40-year-olds that didn't play so much. So we constitute the B team.
Okay. And what events? I presume you've had quite a lot of events so far.
Yeah, we've had a five-a-side tournament with a lower. That was last year. And we had an internal tournament between ourselves. We had a boot camp in Tarifa, which involved some training on the beach and obviously quite a bit of partying.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah, we definitely do both in equal amounts. We've got we had the tournament in March with the lower again. We've got a friendly match next week with the IC College. We've got a game coming up with Arsenal Academy in Sotogrande. That will be in May sometime. And hopefully we're going to start playing against some teams in Gibraltar soon as well.
Okay. And all these events that are coming up, Is it something that's happened by word of mouth? They've heard, oh, there's a ladies football team that train in La Cala, let's use them to practice with.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, we've all been very active. All of the girls that are in the club are really active in trying to find other teams and try and spread the word about the club. Obviously, we do send out lots of emails and contact to any clubs that we hear of. So it's mostly been from our side to begin with, but now it's just starting to come that people are starting to contact us as well.
Oh, that's good. And thinking of the future of the club, and perhaps as you're expanding, you'll be probably thinking about getting a kit.
That's right, yes. Well, we're just about to get some new kit because we're starting to play a lot more competitive matches, and also there should be a league starting in September based in La Cala. So we've got 2 sponsors that are going to help us to buy our kit, which is, we've got Sunshine Weddings Spain, and we've also got Sunshine Golf in La Cala. So hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have a nice new kit.
Oh, that'd be lovely. And upcoming events, I notice on your list here, you've also got Open Age Ladies tournament in Spain. You've got Lanzarote. So there's quite a lot of things to look forward to, isn't there?
The Lanzarote one is actually, we're starting to plan at the moment. One of the girls, the Northern Irish girl, actually, she used to play for Northern Ireland. She's got a friend that lives in Lanzarote who plays for a team, and there's 5 teams there. So we've been speaking to the manager of one of the teams, and they're going to organise a tournament for when we can get there in September.
Now, Brian Reid is an ex-English FA coach, but you were mentioning to me earlier on that he's also done something quite special for charity as well.
He has. He's just run the Brighton Marathon last Sunday. That was his 3rd marathon, and he does it to raise money for leukemia and lymphoma research. And I think he's almost up to the £10,000. That was his goal, to raise the 10,000. He said it was going to be his last marathon, but I think he's going to carry on.
I bet he does. I bet he does. Now, Studs and Stilettos Ladies Football Club, great exercise as well. Great way to meet people. Tell everybody when you meet. I know you're full to capacity, but you never know. You might have an A team and a B team in the future.
Well, we meet every Wednesday in La Cala, in the football ground in La Cala, 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. People are very welcome to come pop down and meet the coach and leave their details or contact me via the website or Facebook. And then as soon as we have an opening, people are very welcome to come along.
OK, thank you very much. And we look forward to catching up with all the matches you're going to win.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a short publicity break now. I'm back with all the latest news. International on this Thursday, the 18th of April. Vale. Local news on Mijas International on this Thursday, the 18th of April. The Mijas Foreigners Department will be moving to La Cala, and that's to the Town Hall offices there, and they'll be there from Monday. The Department for Foreigners will be permanently attending to citizens at these municipal offices. Local government at the Mijas Town Hall has decided to reorganise and improve the services offered to citizens at the Town Hall offices in La Cala, decentralising the service and as a measure to make the municipal administration more useful to everyone. As of now, any citizen, whether Spanish or foreign resident, will be able to carry out all types of procedures at La Cala Town Hall offices. This will avoid the unnecessary trip to the central offices in Mijas village. One of the areas to be most increased at La Cala will be the attention service to foreign residents, who mostly live in this area or in the urbanisations distributed around the coast of Mijas. In fact, from now, the Department for Foreign Residents will be permanently situated at La Cala. In this regard, the Department for Foreigners at La Cala will be offering the same service as previously offered at the Mijas Town Hall, and will assist all residents with municipal procedures as they have done for years. And this department is known as one of the most valued by the citizens. It's been decided that the experts will be present at La Cala from the Town Planning Department on Tuesdays in order to personally attend to citizens. Town Hall is planning on arranging for other departments to be at La Cala on other days of the week. One of the objectives was to bring the town hall closer to the citizens, and we mustn't forget that the coast of Mijas is the second most populated area of Mijas, assured the Deputy Mayor of La Cala, Sylvia Marin, who defended the increase in services at the town hall offices, as she said it avoids unnecessary trips to carry out simple procedures. It's nearly time for the popular Ruta de la Tapa, but this time you won't be using your tapaporte in Mijas village. It will be in Las Lagunas, and there are 11 establishments taking part. You'll be able to discover the tapa delights of this area of Las Lagunas, succulent and tasty snacks on an easy-to-follow route. You can pick up your tapaporte in the council offices in Las Lagunas or the library and the participating catering outlets. And you can use your QR codes, a novelty in this type of event. This application leads to an interactive guide in 3 languages, which contains all the necessary information. From the 1st of May, you can take part in the tapa route every Wednesday and Saturday from 7:30 in the evening until 11:30. So try a tapa and a drink for just €2. The Atalaya Macora Residents Association has enabled a new area for containers of organic waste and recycling. And thanks to the collaboration of the Mijas Town Council, the inhabitants of the area can deposit waste in a comfortable and safe way. For 5 weeks, residents have worked to create this space for installing containers, which will avoid having to make long journeys to deposit garbage. Material has been provided by the Town Council and residents, and in addition, the Council drew up the project and has made the necessary arrangements for its construction. Protected by a 1-metre wall, the containers are located well and will allow residents to separate and recycle their household waste. Aficionados of the world of the horse should take note. It's a new appointment in the equestrian calendar. On April the 27th, there'll be a horse trek through the Sierra de Mijas. The registration period is open, and the Mijas Peña Caballista, in collaboration with the Mijas Town Council, have organised this trek on horseback through the mountains. So don't forget, at 10:30 a.m. on the 27th of April, leaving from the promenade at the back of the town hall, you'll be able to discover the Sierra de Mijas on horseback, and you'll be touring the main streets of Mijas first, and then you'll be taking the Sierra Mijas route, making 4 stops in total. Mijas is reducing the parking tariff at the Virgen de la Peña car park, and this is to €1 per day, both for tourists and for residents. The measure, which comes into force at the beginning of May, has been very well received by the Association of Businesses in Mijas Village and is aimed at promoting tourism and economic development in the town. The Virgen de la Peña public parking area in Mijas Village reduces these tariffs from the 1st of May to €1 a day for residents and for tourists, and this was announced by the Mayor Ángel Nozal, and he announced it to the representatives of the Association of Businesses during a meeting held at the office. With this local government at the Mijas Town Hall, they decided that they wanted to contribute the promotion of tourism and economic development in Mijas, making it easier for visitors and neighbours to park their vehicles. And of course, it is a modest price of €1 per day, and this is from 12 p.m. to 12 p.m, 24 hours a day. And this was stated by the Councillor for Commerce and Tourism, Santiago Martin. The announcement made by the Mayor has been very well received by the representatives of the Association of Businesses, according to the Councillor, who also stated that the important reduction in the price to park in the public parking area represents a great effort by the Town Hall. The governing team hopes that this measure will benefit all the businesses and catering establishments in Mijas Village, and that it will serve to maintain and increase the amount of employment generated by these, as stated by Santiago Martin. The government team warns that schools' capacities is one of the things that is on the verge of collapse due to the lack of the new educational infrastructure. There were 7,059 that applied for a place at one of the infant and primary schools for next year. It means having to install more prefabricated classrooms. For the Department of Education, schools of the municipality have reached their capacity. a situation that next year, they say, will be more severe, according to statistics. Other centres will have to sacrifice multi-purpose spaces for their conversion into classrooms and increase the number of students per class, which could be avoided, the council say, if the Junta de Andalucía had built the new college in Las Lagunas. According to the Mijas Town Council, in 3 years, secondary schools will be in the same situation as the infant and primary schools due to the Junta de Andalucía's failure to act urgently. Town planning councillors of the province have gathered in Mijas to find similar solutions to common problems, to speed up the concession of smaller building licences, the technical inspection of buildings, and among other matters, the legalisation of irregular properties. It was the focus for the councillors' meeting, organised with a determination to continue. Málaga City, Marbella, Vélez Málaga, Antequera and Rincón de la Victoria, which together with Mijas are the largest municipalities in the province, as well as councillors from other small towns such as Alcafín and Ojen, analysed the circumstances that occur throughout the whole province. One of the circumstances that has motivated the Town Planning Councillors meeting has been the large amount of rules and laws generated in answer to the abuses in town planning in the past. In this regard, the Councillor for Town Planning from Antequera, José Manuel Carmona, stated that for many years they have been turning the other way in regard to town planning discipline. And now, he said, we have to be the bad guys who come and tidy up problems that we didn't create. And precisely the process in Mijas to confront the legalisation of the properties led the meeting to be held in the Assembly Hall of the Town Hall. There's a very special painting exhibition that's going to be inaugurated at the Cultural Centre of La Cala tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. And it's Russian painters Yul Hanchas and Olya Sharipa, and they present a joint exhibition, and it's under the name Colour Therapy. The inauguration of the exhibition will be tomorrow at 8 in the evening in La Cala Cultural Centre, and on this occasion the creative avant-garde Yul Hanchas presents a new collection of abstract painting which reflects innovative painting techniques along with the talented work of the painter Olya Sharipo. The exhibition will remain open to the public until May the 6th, so make sure that you don't miss out. Let's see what's happening with the weather tomorrow where you are. That's all for the local news. We now have Gabby Ray, and she'll be updating you with the Spanish national news. And of course, we'll have the international news after that. So until tomorrow, hasta mañana. And don't forget that the Mayor of Mijas will be updating you with the municipal news tomorrow in the management report, and that'll be at 8:30 in the evening. Hasta mañana.
Hello, good evening, and it is now time to take a look at the newspapers for today. That's the Spanish press, this is the kiosk, and we're going to, as always, take a look at all the different, or some of the different news items that are appearing in today's Spanish press. And I'd like to begin, though, just apologising for yesterday, because I did say that the ex-president of Spain lived in La Zarzuela, and of course he didn't. It was La Moncloa, which is the equivalent to number 10 Downing Street here in Spain. So having said that, we'll move on now with today's news. I'll try not to confuse you anymore. And we start with the Sur newspaper, as usual. And they're talking about something that happened way back in 2011, but they finally, it seems, managed to arrest 6 people for the theft of 120 kilos of cocaine that was taken from the port warehouse in Málaga. This is 1.5 years after the theft took place. The national police, have arrested 4 people in Madrid and 2 in Málaga with relation to this case. It was a film-like robbery that they carried out, and there was a whole band of thefts that managed to get into the area of the port and remove these 120 kilos of cocaine from the warehouse. This was the official warehouse where the police put all the drugs that they managed to take in when they do any official raids. And so this happened on the 13th of November 2011, and since then it has really been a thorn in the side of the police, as they really wanted to find who had done this. So it's good news. They've managed to arrest, as we say, 6 people for this theft. Continuing with the Sur newspaper as well, and they tell us also about something that's probably going to be one of the nicest news items today, because it's a plan that they have for Malaga to create the Great Route of Malaga. You can see that beautiful picture there. That's obviously of the Gibralfaro castle in Malaga. And what it is, it's a new product that they want to create that is going to be a route that you can follow that has, it's 650 kilometers in 7 stages. We're talking about a route that takes almost a month to cover. And it's something that being organized by the county council or the provincial council in Malaga. This new initiative will create 6,500 jobs, and it has meant an investment of €1,120,000, of which 820,000 are actually European funds. So, and this, we'll be telling you more about it in days to come, but it's something that was explained by the president of the provincial council in Malaga, Elias Bendodo, which wants to unite Malaga with the Camino de Santiago and with European routes which reach up to Cyprus. So very, very interesting there. As we say, 820,000 euros of European funds are going towards the creation of this, and we'll look into it in more detail in further news items. Finally, we did yesterday say that we were not going to be talking about the crocodile again, but it is inevitable because once again it's in all the press. Not the previous one, which we know was found dead, but what they're saying now that in the in the Sur newspaper, they're saying that Mijas is searching for a second crocodile. What's happened is that when they've examined the one they've found, there's a lot of doubts that have arisen among the experts. They say that the prints do not coincide with those that appeared in the last weeks in the Majada Lakes in Mijas, and that the only person that had actually seen the reptile alive says that it does not look like the one that he saw. So it means that once again we're talking about another crocodile in the Mijas Lakes, and of course they're on the search for it as well. The one found that was dead was actually a crocodile from the Nile, and as we said yesterday, it is quite a dangerous species, and so we'll keep you up to date on that. We can't promise we won't be talking about the crocodile anymore. Continuing with our next newspaper, which is the Málaga Hoy newspaper for today, and they're talking about the tragedy that continues in Spain with regard to the evictions. There are more embargoes and more evictions and more people being fired, and of course all this leads to even more cases of people losing their homes. In 2012 there is a true reflection of this crisis, and it's in a report that's been brought out by the High Court of Justice in Andalusia. They're saying that the amount of evictions have multiplied by 4 since the year 2008. In 2012 there were almost 4,000, which is 21% more than in the previous year. So not good news there on the side of the evictions that are taking place, not just in Malaga but all over Spain. And that was it for the Málaga Hoy today. I didn't see a lot of eye-catching news items, but they're all more or less talking about the same in the Spanish press. There's just small things that you can pick out to differentiate them. The Opinión de Málaga we're going to look at now, and we were speaking some time ago about the cinemas in Malaga that they wanted to turn into a gourmet centre, and no one was very happy with that idea, at least all the businesses surrounding where the old cinemas, the Astoria, and I can't remember the name of of the other one, but they were the two cinemas in Malaga. And so anyway, continuing, there's now new talk in the Opinión de Málaga of a different gourmet centre that is foreseen to be built in the port, in the docks in the Malaga port. And it's going to occupy some 1,400 square metres and will be on the corners of docks 1 and 2, which is now being used as an area for children. And so bit by bit we're learning more about this new project, which, as we say, and the idea is to, at first they were talking about putting a big supermarket there, but nobody really liked that idea. And so the alternative was rejected by the port in 2010. And so now they're talking about this gourmet centre, which is going to be sort of a market that they're comparing with the San Miguel market in Madrid or the Boqueria market in Barcelona. It'll be somewhere where you can not only go and buy fresh and gourmet products, but also you'll be able to actually eat there. So these are the plans for the port in Malaga. We'll keep you updated on that one. The Opinión de Málaga is once again talking about Isabel Pantoja, and we must let you know that there's been so much social alarm created by the fact that the folklore singer did not have to go into prison, that the judicial authorities are coming out and saying, well, no one has said that she's not going into prison yet, because it seems that even though the court has given her 24 months imprisonment, which doesn't normally put you into prison, this does not mean that the court does not have the authority to send her to Alaurín. So we're still looking into this news, as there still are things to be found out about this. We don't know yet for sure whether or not Isabel Pantoja is going to be going into the prison or not in Alaurín. So she's probably holding her breath and quite worried about that right now. The Opinión de Málaga is the one that has given us most news items for today. They had quite a lot of different things that I thought were quite interesting. The Opinión is talking also about the fact that the price of petrol and the crisis are reducing the amount of traffic in Malaga. So it's almost ecological news that this crisis is provoking. Between September and December in 2012, 3% less traffic was running through Malaga. And this is something that, of course, is being affected by the lack of money to pay for the petrol, basically, because what they're saying is that public transport, or the use of public transport, has not increased, but there are 1/3 less cars travelling around the main streets or the main roads in Malaga. And so I just thought it was a little bit interesting that this crisis could be helping the air to be a little bit fresher in Malaga, at least. And we continue with traffic, because the Opinión is also on a different article talking about the A7 road in Malaga. What they're saying is that it's one of the stretches that costs most per accident. There's a study that's being carried out which says that if there were 20%, if the amount invested to keep the roads in shape were doubled, the amount of accidents would be reduced by 20%. And what they're saying is that it costs them 390,000 euros per kilometre in regard to the monies that have to be spent when an accident takes place, and that the A7 is one of the most expensive in Spain. This is a report that's been created by the Automóvil Club de Catalunya, that's the RACC, and they're talking about the social costs of accidents in Spain, and once again insist that if they spent more keeping the roads in shape, there would not be so many accidents. The social cost of one accident, they're saying, including the emergencies, doctors, rehabilitation, and one thing and another, is calculated on more or less 1.4 million euros for each person that gets killed on the road, and 219,000 for every person injured. So a lot of money goes into everything that goes around any accidents that occur on the road. And finally, in the Opinión de Málaga newspaper, this is something that we speak about a lot here in Mijas, especially in the local news, but it appears in all the different provincial newspapers also. And as we've been telling you, there are not enough schools in Mijas. Yesterday we were saying that the Junta is going to be investing some 5 million euros in a second golf school in Almería. Well, here in Mijas, next year, according to the Opinión de Málaga, there are going to be 700 children in Mijas that are going to have to be studying studying in prefabricated classrooms, and this is due to the lack of agreement between the Junta and the Town Hall in regard to where the school is to be placed. And the Junta continues to say that Mijas is not giving them the right land that they need to build the schools. But I think if you've been following the local news here in Mijas, you'll know that they've been offered an enormous amount of different properties or different lands where the schools can be built, and really we're just not getting anywhere with this yet. And what it means is, as you can see, that those are the classrooms that the children are going to be using in Mijas next school year. We're going to continue with the Mundo newspaper, which is a more national paper, and we're going to move to Madrid for the news item coming up, because we've very recently heard about the marathon and the tragedy in Boston, but marathons do continue, and the Madrid marathon is coming up very, very soon. They're expecting some 23,000 runners. This year, as we say, 23,000. They're going to be 12,000 are going to be going out to actually finish the marathon, which is 10 kilometers long. And, well, there are obviously a lot of security measures being put into place, and not only in this marathon, but in all the ones that are being organized now in future. So that's the Madrid Marathon just round the corner now, and it's on the 28th of April, and we'll be celebrating its 36th edition. A small mention as we consider that this immigration problem with all the different small inflatable boats that are arriving to the coasts of Tarifa are a true tragedy. And once again, we have to give you news on this, because yesterday one person died and 14 people were rescued in 2 pateras, as they call them. Those are those big wooden boats that they use. They were just drifting, and as we say, one man did die. They were coming, well, they're calling them pateras, but it seems that what the news item says is that they were traveling in inflatable toy boats, and still they managed to get here, although it did cost one person his life. So that was in Tarifa yesterday. And we continue in the area of Tarifa, which is right next to Barbate, or very, very close. This is Cadiz, and the mayor of Barbate is really, really, really annoyed, because the military maneuvers that are taking place in the area, a lot of the land in the area of Barbate belongs to the government and is used for military purposes. And they're actually carrying out defense exercises right now at the training camp in Barbate. And what the mayor is saying, and very rightly so, is that they're coinciding with the time when the Almadraba takes place, which is when they do the artisan fishing maneuvers to catch the tuna fish in the area. And it's one of the last places almost in the world where this type of fishing takes place. And of course, with all these bombs going off and military maneuvers, it's affecting the fishing activities. Also, the mayor is saying that it's the time when tourists are beginning to arrive and the beaches are beginning to be filled with people. And we keep hearing, they're saying that they keep hearing missiles being fired and large bombs going off. So a rather strange thing to be carrying on right next to where a tourist area and large fishing areas are also held. So that's in Barbate, and this is our last news item for you today. We hope you feel more informed as always, and we'll be back with you tomorrow Friday. But also remember, tomorrow Friday is the day when we're joined by the Mayor of Mijas, Mr. Angel Nothal, who will be bringing us the management report. I'm sure he'll tell us a little bit more about this crocodile if we have any more news on that. So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening, and hasta mañana.
Prayers for the Boston bomb victims. While they are uppermost in people's minds, the search for those responsible goes on. Investigators say they've found images of a potential suspect from a surveillance camera. A man has been viewed dropping off a bag at the scene. However, the FBI has denied reports that any suspect has yet been arrested. But the information's being seen as a breakthrough after numerous rumours had stirred up tensions in the city.
I've been getting news alerts all day, and they'll send you one thing, and then the next minute you hear that it's not true. So sometimes I'm more at the point right now where it's worth kind of waiting to find out what's been really going on. before just sort of jumping to conclusions.
Even an FBI briefing was delayed and then cancelled after the venue was evacuated due to what turned out to be a false alarm. Our correspondent in Boston says,
within 48 hours, Boston has gone from shock to mourning to fear. The evacuation of the federal courthouse building behind me has sent citizens and authorities on high alert. And with police being unhappy about leaks that turned out to be false, the level of nervousness is rising. Stefan Grober, Euronews, Boston.
A man has been arrested in connection with the sending of letters containing the poison ricin to US officials, including President Obama. Paul Kevin Curtis was detained in Mississippi. All the letters were postmarked Memphis, Tennessee. They were prevented from reaching their targets after they tested positive for the lethal toxin at a government mail screening facility. Officials have been quick to deny any link to the Boston bombings. Back in 2001, after the 9/11 attacks, there was a wave of letters containing anthrax. Ricin can be fatal when inhaled, swallowed or injected. President Barack Obama and relatives of victims of gun violence have expressed their deep disappointment after a vote in the US Senate threw out legislation to expand background checks on gun buyers. The move had been a key element of the president's plan to curb gun violence in the wake of December's Newtown school massacre. The proposal had sought to widen the current checks to include online and gun show sales.
All that happened today was the preservation of the loophole that lets dangerous criminals buy guns without a background check. That didn't make our kids safer. So all in all, this was a pretty shameful day for Washington.
Despite nearly 90% of Americans supporting checks, the powerful gun lobby, led by the National Rifle Association, appears to have won the day. The plan was blocked by a 54-46 vote, 6 short of the 60-vote hurdle needed to clear the Senate. There was obvious anger in the chamber.
There will be order in the Senate. The gallery will refrain from any demonstration or comment.
Opponents of the plan will see this as a victory for gun rights groups, who say the checks would violate the right to bear arms. Instead, they're pushing for more extensive enforcement of current gun laws.
Political stalemate continues in Italy. Not only does the country not have a government since the deadlocked general election in February, but now the parliament has failed on the first attempt to elect a new state president. Divisions in the centre-left alliance mean there was no quick victory for its official candidate, this man Franco Marini. A deal over the presidency is key to progress on forming a new minority government. There is now to be a second vote to try to get a new president.
Syrian television viewers have watched their president give a rare interview accusing the West of supporting al-Qaeda militants in the country's civil war. Talking on a pro-government TV channel, President Bashar al-Assad warned the militants would turn against their backers and strike in the heart of Europe and the US. Throughout the interview, the president maintained a righteous tone. We have no choice, he said, but to be victorious, otherwise Syria will vanish. Assad reserved some of his strongest criticism for Jordan. He accused it of allowing thousands of fighters to cross into Syria to join the conflict. He also warned the violence could easily spread across to Syria's neighbour. Recognising what it called the deteriorating situation, Washington is to send 200 troops to Jordan to help the kingdom boost its defences. This latest unverified amateur footage is said to show the aftermath of yet more airstrikes, this time in Douma. The economic theory underpinning austerity policies being followed by governments worldwide may be flawed. That's the allegation made in a study by the University of Massachusetts. It claims to have found coding errors on the Excel spreadsheet used by the academics who produced the theory, which could invalidate their conclusions. It was economists Kenneth Rogoff and Carmen Reinhardt who found that economic growth normally slows when a government's debt exceeds 90% of the country's annual economic output. The observation and the subsequent conclusion that countries must cut public spending has meant hardship for millions. Policymakers around the world have imposed austerity measures in a desperate bid to ensure a growing economy. However, analysts don't expect governments to discard the theory, as the saying "you shouldn't spend more than you earn" still rings true.